now declare the meeting open, and I'd like to welcome everyone, including the folks at home watching on telly. We are one member short, and that's Councillor Vokes, who's on vacation. Thank you very much. Any conflicts of interest amongst the council members this evening's schedule? Oh, thank you.
Adoption of the published agenda for the Monday, March 2nd, 2015 regular council meeting.
Support.
Moved by Councillor Bunny and supported by Councillor Snively. Any questions?
Through your worship, I have the addition of the request from the clerk to appoint a committee for appeal hearings with respect to notices to muzzle.
Thank you.
Next item of business, the adoption of the minutes for the February 16th, 2015 regular council meeting.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Malash, supported by Councillor Caxero. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? No. 100%.
B, the February 17th, 2015 special council meeting.
Councillor Snively and Councillor Bundy. Any questions? All in favor? Carried 100%.
Item 6, public presentations. A, Essex County Steam and Gas Engine Museum.
Are those on? If you could, gentlemen, could you make your way right over to this end over here? I think those are all set up for you. I think all you need to do is push the purple button on the front of the microphone there. Oh, looks like here comes Mr. Sweet. Just need to push it on the side, I guess. Hang on, Morris, it's not working. Here comes the other one.
Yeah, my name is Morris Kurzak. I'm the Vice President of the Essex County Steam and Gas Museum. I'm here tonight to let you know that Essex County Steam and Gas Museum is in need of a storage and maintenance building. Currently, our storage and maintenance equipment is spread all through the two buildings, and we're proposing an addition 64 by 48. That's on the north side of our steam building. This will free up a lot of space in our two museum buildings. We're also requesting this addition. That's for safety of our tourists that are viewing our displays on both buildings. And we just like to get the okay to go ahead with it.
Are there any questions to the delegation or comments? Deputy Mayor Malash?
Just to the north. Evening, gentlemen. Just to the north of the museum part of the building.
The museum building, yes.
Okay. And would it be for more display or just storage?
No, right now, especially our tractor building there is full of lawn cutting equipment and wagons and all, and we have a tour. It's really a safety factor. And same with the steam building. We have our chip wagon, our snack wagon there, and other wagons with old motors, and we just like to have a building so we can free all this up, and we're really looking forward to get more tours coming to our building. We're doing a lot of advertising for that right now.
Thank you. Further?
Yes, sir.
So I know there's a roadway that goes there right now, so it looks, from the diagram, it looks like as if the barn barn extension would go over top of the road that's there. Is there any plan to move the road to go around the building as well?
Yes, we will do that. That roadway just goes over to the parking lot, and our quarries there have been really supporting us with gravel, so it wouldn't be much of a problem to move the road over.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Bjorkman?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you for bringing this forward. It's a great area that you have over there now, and a lot of people enjoy it. I know I've got a couple of friends who spend quite a bit of time there, and they enjoy what you offer them. So I think it's great, something else to offer in our area, and I'll be happy to support it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything further? Thank you very much, gentlemen. And Deputy Mayor Malash,
I'll move that we give permission to have the pole barn erected.
supported by Councillor Snively. Any questions? All in favor? 100%. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Keep up the good work over there.
Yeah, thank you.
Item 8, reports from administration. A, corporate services, report number 2015-004 regarding council remuneration tax benefit.
Councillor Caxero,
I'll move receipt of the recommendation, or move receipt and move the recommendation.
supported by Councillor Bondi. Questions? Councillor Bondi?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, to Donna. We've had these conversations in the past, and I know the last term of council was kind of confusing as to the question came, what is claimable mileage? So this report made me, triggered that question again in my head, and I was wondering, I don't know if I need a council motion for this, after the motion, if administration could come back with some guidelines about what is claimable mileage. And it's last term of council, we had different council members claiming different things, and if we could kind of get on the same page when it comes to claiming things. Like, I'll give some personal examples. I come to a council meeting, so I'm going to claim mileage. If I drop my daughter off at school and have a chat with a resident about a sidewalk, I personally wouldn't claim those miles, but in the past, I think some council members have. And since we are a new term of council, I think it would be a good idea so that we could all be on the same page. Typically it's council invited events, so we're all invited here tonight, so we get claimable mileage. If we're running around on our own accord, meeting with different residents and business owners, is that claimable mileage? I don't know. Every time I do my mileage, I'm like, I don't know what's claimable and I don't know what's not, because there's a lot of gray areas for myself. So I don't know if that's possible. And also guidelines about what works for the Treasury Department on when mileage should be submitted. So in the next, it's certainly not urgent, but in the next couple months, 6 months, it'd be nice to have some guidelines. Me, myself, as a councillor, I just don't know what is appropriate to claim. So that's my comments. I support the recommendations here, of course.
Deputy Mayor Malash.
Just for the record, I don't claim mileage for chats with residents.
Some did last term.
Any other questions? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you.
Item B, infrastructure and development, report number ID 15-02. This is a verbal presentation of the overview of the Ministry of Transportation, the resurfacing works for Highway number 3.
Thank you, Mr. Nepsey.
Did you email it
In the last meeting. I will keep it short. Yeah, this is just a brief overview of the modifications and the reconstruction works that are going on Highway 3 beginning late May of this year. It was requested that I just provide a verbal summary of those works. The overall limits are from County Road 8 to, in town anyways, through to County Road 27. So through the entire town of Essex on Highway 3. The work in that area will just simply consist of mill and pave only. And that's it for our area. That work will be done throughout the night as to minimize any impact to traffic throughout our center. That work will not, I mean, we're talking a few weeks of work. The larger extent of the work is towards the Leamington area and into Kingsville, where they will be completely reconstructing those roads. That work will have detours involved and be much more involved. The detour route right now is calling for those cars to end up on County Road 23 and detour around that section. So there will be some impact to, I guess, the county road that's located in our municipality, but it is a county road and it's meant for high volume traffic. So as far as the works through Essex Center, fairly minimal, but there will be some hardship, I guess, involved for that month or so when they're surface treating that area. So just a quick summary of those works. But
Any questions? Deputy Mayor Malash.
Comment. I think Chris said that the milling and paving of the section that runs through the town of Essex for Highway number 3 is just going to be like a month?
Through your worship, yeah, I mean, it's slated to begin May this year. And again, those works will be done at night as to not impact during the day. And I would imagine somewhere between 4 and 6 weeks to do that milling and paving, yep.
So my understanding was they're closing the road off entirely, not just letting you go through in the day and at night you could just closing at night. They're going to close it permanently for that month or for however long it's going to take them. And once they're finished, then they'll reopen.
No, through your worship, Part A, which is from, and I apologize, I was supposed to email map to Cheryl and I did not today, I got caught up. Part A, which is the reconstruction limits, which is from basically Talbot Road towards Leamington up to Cottam Side Road. That's the reconstruction where they're closing. The milling and paving is like any resurfacing project. They're not, I mean, they'll be doing that work at night and reopening during the day. That's for our section, what I was told by the MTO.
Further?
Yes, sir.
So my concern is that the MTO was asking Essex's opinion on whether or not they wanted them to actually close that section of the road or whether we would like another option. And the reason why I believe that we would want another option is because the traffic that's going to be rerouted does affect our citizens, and it will be for a 9-month period down County Road 23. It's already a busy road. Most trucks are going to take, commercial trucks and industrial trucks that we're going to take number 3 highway to Leamington or Kingsville are now going to take County Road 23. And I've had several residents that have major concerns about that traffic being rerouted down County Road 23 for their safety. A lot of them say that there's already a lot of near misses on the road because the traffic is a lot faster than the 80 kilometers posted. I don't know if, I believe if we started looking to the OPP and asking what kind of tickets they book down that section of the highway, that you're going to find that there's a lot of tickets that are booked down that section, as well as high speed and accidents as well. I would have hoped that the town of Essex would have wrote back to the ministry and saying, and telling them that rather than a full-out closure of Highway number 3, which would, and the MTO was pushing for that because it's a quicker fix for them. It's a shorter duration of trying to fix that section of the highway up, and it's a cheaper route for them as well because they're going to get it done in 9 months instead of a year and 6 months or 2 seasons. But I think for the safety of our own residents, we should have been pushing for them just to close one highway or look at an alternative, maybe South Talbot or actually paving another road, like another lane, to be used at a later point in time. So I want to go on record as saying that I'm opposed to the routing that the detour routing that they're using right now, going down County Road 23. And I don't know if we actually sent them a letter saying that we are okay with the routing that they're using right now, but I would have preferred that we would have sent them a letter saying that we want them to only close one lane at a time. And, you know, it would have been more expensive for them to do, but I mean, I think in fairness to the residents that are going to be affected, that we should have been taking that opinion or that going that route. The other thing is that I know that the road is supposed to be from down County Road 23 to County Road 20 and then into Kingsville and Leamington. But I believe your fair amount of traffic is not going to take that route because that is not the shortest route. They're going to take the shortest route. They're not going to take the route that you tell them that's going to make them go out of their way and then come back into town. So I still think you're going to see some of that traffic deflected through the town here. They're going to want to take old number 3 highways, what I think they're going to want to take, which is County Road 31?
I believe so, yeah.
31. But in any case, I think it's too late at this point in time to send a letter in to them because I think they've made their decision as to what they're going to do. But I think in the future, different projects like this, we have to take a more proactive stance on this and look at how it's going to, even the detours are going to affect our residents, not just the section that they're going to be remilling and repaving. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
If I can just...
Mr. Nepsey.
through your worship, just to comment on some of that. The work of the mill and the pave between County Road 23 and 27 is approximately 5,700 meters long. And it's to be done under full closure, right? Provided under that Part A. To accelerate the work on Part B, as you noted, Councillor Mosh, I think as soon as that, what I've been told by the MTO is as soon as that mill and pave is completed, which they expect to be between mid-July, so the shaving of that service, those lanes will be accessible to local traffic on Highway 3. So it'll provide for some local traffic relief. Mind you, it'll be under construction, right? So I don't know how much uptake they'll get on that. So they will have access at least back to some of those Highway 3 lanes. That'll provide some relief on traffic volumes on local road, the local road detour, which will, further minimize the other detours that they take. The comments I got back from the MTO is they're obligated to provide a local road detour for that Part A, for that through traffic, and it must have a clearly designated option. And that option on paper absolutely makes sense to be a county road. County Road 20 or 18 in Kingsville, and County Road 23 that borders our towns. And that's, as I noted before, those roads are built for volume. Those roads are built to maintain that traffic. Will it be busier than it is now? Yes, but that's what those roads are for. That's why they're county roads. So, and they noted with respect to the concern or the councilor's concern that through traffic will use other local roads. They unfortunately cannot control that, and you never know which roads those people are going to use. And if they're not going to use the designated detour route, it just clearly depends on where they're coming from and where they need to go. So they are trying to provide for some relief by returning Highway 3 back to normal as soon as possible. So I think, as you noted, they're trying to quicken that and reduce that impact in the long term anyway. So, but as you noted, this plan is underway, and I guess sending a letter now really wouldn't make much of a difference for them.
Thank you, Richard. Anyone else? Motion to receive the report. Councillor Caxero, Councillor Bjorkman. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries.
Item C, Infrastructure and Development Report Number Municipal Drainage 2015-02, and this is for the appointment of a drainage engineer to prepare a report for a new access culvert over the Beneteau Drain.
Moved by Councillor Caxero, supported by Councillor Snively. And supported, right? No. Okay. Questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries.
Item D, Corporate Services Report Number Finance and Business Services 2015-01, the results of the request for proposal for the municipal waste collection services.
Moved by Councillor Caxero, supported by Councillor Bondi. Any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries.
9, correspondence. Item A, Mark and Michelle Cooper, 2543 County Road 12, permission to demolish existing home after the occupancy of a newly constructed dwelling. And there is an adjoining bylaw with that needs to be adopted as well.
Moved by Councillor Bondi, supported by Councillor Caxero. Any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries.
B, Ontario Clean Water Agency, the 2014 annual and summer reports for the Harold Colchester South Water Treatment Plant and the Harold Colchester South Distribution System.
Moved by Councillor Bjorkman. Supported by Councillor Bondi. Any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries.
Item C, the Union Water Supply System Annual Report for 2014 for the Essex Water Distribution System and the Union Water Supply System Report for 2013.
Deputy Mayor Malash. Move. Supported by Councillor Bjorkman. Any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries.
Item 10, committee meeting minutes. A, the Fun Fest Committee meeting from January 28, 2015.
Councillor Bjorkman and Councillor Caxero. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries.
Item B, Committee of Adjustment meeting January 20th, 2015.
Moved by Councillor Snively, supported by Councillor Caxero. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries.
Item C, the Finance Committee meeting held February 16th, 2015, and there are 2 recommendations that form part of the minutes.
Councillor Caxero
Motion to receive and move the recommendations.
and Deputy Mayor Malash supports. Any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries.
Item 11, bylaws. A, bylaw number 1395, being a bylaw to enter into a contribution agreement between Her Majesty the Queen and Right of Ontario as represented by the Minister of Agricultural, Food and Rural Affairs for the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund.
Moved by Councillor Bondi, supported by Councillor Caxero. Question? Councillor Bondi.
Just wondering if we can send a thank you letter? Is this for the Fairview money? No? Yeah? Could council also send a thank you?
lots of things. Any other questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries.
Item B, bylaw number 1397, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the March 2nd, 2015 regular meeting of the Council of the Town of Essex.
Moved by Councillor Snively, supported by Councillor Caxero. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries.
Item C, bylaw number 1398, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 1052, being a bylaw to provide for licensing, regulating, and governing of taxicabs and taxicab drivers in the Town of Essex.
Moved by Councillor Bjorkman, supported by Councillor Caxero. Any questions? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries.
Item 12, financial, A, January 2015 bank payments reports.
Moved by Councillor Caxero, supported by Deputy Mayor Malash. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries.
13, new business, Councillor Vokes have requested a request for interest for the Harbor Restaurant.
Councillor Snively.
Yes, through you, Your Worship, I'd like to speak on this issue here. As we all know, our harbor restaurant's been closed for, I don't know how many years now. We've had 4 or 5 different tenants in there, and it just seems like they can't make it there. I don't think the financial backing was good. I don't think the plan was. I think we looked at a couple that come in there, and we didn't really research it enough. We didn't study it enough. And the reason I'm speaking on this, I know we have some interested parties in this, and in particular, I have one that is willing to sign a long-term lease on this and bring it back as a restaurant, and he's willing to do all the upgrades on it if we could work something out with the lease, and so much of the lease. And I think we should, we have never advertised this, and I'm going to recommend that we get it in the papers as quickly as we can, and let's see what interest parties we do have come forward on this restaurant. We got to get it open. It's been closed for so many years, and I'm sure Bill and myself, we both had a lot of people ask us, when is this restaurant going to get open back up again? And to be fair with the ratepayers, you know, it's been sitting there. It is an asset for us. It's a gem there to get open back up. I'm sure if we had the right people in there, we could make a go out of this restaurant. And the people I have interest in, it's just not for a restaurant. It's for future development there too. He has other plans there too. But I getting back to it, it's got to get in the paper, and let's get it advertised so we can move forward. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Sweet.
Through your worship, through past discussions with council, Donna and Jackson, procurement manager, met last week. So we do have we went with request for proposal just to kind of speed up the process. It's ready to go. We're just waiting to get direction from council so we can have that out probably tomorrow or Wednesday.
So the recommendation from Councillor Snively, do we all support his recommendation? Council members? Yep, seconder. Councillor Bonnie. Yes.
Thank you, Councillor Snively, for bringing this up in Councillor Vokes' absence. I just have a few questions of what we're looking for in terms of, are we limiting it to just a restaurant? Are we, is it could it possibly be an art studio? What kind of lease are we looking into, or is that going to be all handled in the request for proposal? I feel like we're just throwing anything out there, and I don't know. I think we should refine what we're looking for as a council if we can, unless we throw everything out there and see what we get back, and then we can pick and choose. I also think that council should be involved in selecting the proponents going forward.
Mr. Sweet.
Through your worship, basically the request for proposal can be for the premise. It doesn't necessarily say you have to be a restaurant. They'll come back. We do have a mandatory site meeting that's part of it, so anyone that's interested can see what the building looks like, so they'll have a better idea what proposal can come forward.
Thank you. Councillor Bjorkman?
Through your worship, as we discussed when we were out there, we're not looking to get ourselves tied up to something right away because we don't know what we're doing as far as the divestiture of the harbor yet. There's a big picture that we're looking at out there right now. So this is just to get some information in, no matter who you are, restaurant, retail, beach shop, anything that could be interested in what we're doing, and to see if we can make that fit with the entire plan for the harbor. So I don't think we're looking to make any deals right now. We just want to see who in the community is interested to partner with us and then put that together with our long-term plan. That's all I'll say.
Thank you, sir. Councillor Caxero?
Through your worship, with respect to request for proposal, maybe to Doug, what's the time frame we're looking at, and are we binding ourselves to anything? So if 4 or 5 proposals come in, do we have to accept one of them, or can we?
Mrs. Hunter?
Through you, your worship, by putting out a request for proposal does not limit us to anything. Basically, you can accept one, you can accept none. We'll make that very clear in the request for proposal document that we're not bound to accept any of the proposals that are submitted. Does that answer your question?
Anything else? Councillor Snively?
Through your worship, the only thing I want to make clear here, the longer that building stays closed, the worse condition it's going to be. I think we have to move forward and get this building open back up again. I mean, it's been closed for years. I don't know what we're doing here. Do we have to accept a proposal? No, we don't. But let's get the right people in there and let's get that building opened back up. I don't know what we're waiting for here. Let's get it opened up and let's get it back into business again. It's part of the harbor, and yes, we're trying to develop the harbor, and it ties in with the harbor. So let's get it opened up. I don't know what we're waiting for here. Thank you.
I can answer that question. We're waiting for tomorrow so they can get that RFI out to the public. And then we're full steam ahead. We all agree. Ready for a question? All in favor? Motion carries.
Item 14, item B, under new business. Council needs to appoint 3 members of council to serve as a committee for appeal hearings with respect to notices to muzzle for the whole term of council. We neglected to do that when we did our striking committees for council, and I do have another appeal for a notice to muzzle, so I would like council to appoint 3 members to a committee if they could, please.
Do we have volunteers? That would be in Essex, probably. No, could be up there. 3 council members to volunteer. Councillor Bjorkman? I'll volunteer. One more. Going once. Put your names in the hat, pull one out. That's what we'll have to do. No one will volunteer. Okay. Well, we can get that done before the night's out. Seeing as how we're in a hurry, we'll continue. If I could get someone over from administration to put Sherry, Richard, Larry, and Bill's name in a hat, and Randy. Yep, okay.
Item 14, notices of motion. Councillor Bondi.
Thank you.
Great.
I have a motion, but I just want to introduce it with, I want to start by saying that I don't feel closing any one of the schools listed in the current park review is going to be a solution to our problem. The root of the problem lies in the funding model that continues to favor urban centers. The current funding model does not provide equal access to quality educational programs. Education is not a one-size-fits-all. Kingsville, Western, Amherst High are all equally important, and I think it's time we stand united as communities going forward. So tonight, there is a park committee meeting in Harrow at 6:30, so that's why we've moved our council meeting up, and we're all heading over there tonight. So I think that my colleague over there has something to add to the motion as well, but as the motion as it stands right now is that the Council of the Town of Essex would like to invite the Premier down and the Minister of Education to view the Harrow community of schools. We feel that the funding model needs to be changed in order to accommodate rural education. Rural education is just as important as urban education, and funding strategies need to reflect equal access to education. Over the past 4 years, my last term on council, the education levy has gone down every year on our taxes, which is great for municipalities because it enables us to raise our taxes a little bit without anybody noticing. But personally, I would like to keep that extra $10 or $20 of my taxes in education. And the current model does not allow us to have any local control over education. Local control meaning funding control. So I think it's imperative that we go to where the problem sits, and the problem sits with the funding model. Local school boards are trying their hardest to accommodate the amount of students they have, but the funding needs to change. It needs to go from per student to per benefit. And if we remove any one of the 4 or 5 schools that are listed, every community there is going to suffer. And that's just Essex County. There's other communities throughout Ontario that are suffering the same. So why aren't we looking at the root of the problem rather than just throwing Band-Aids everywhere? So that's my motion. I don't know, Councillor Coxero, you had a great idea too. I'd love it if you would add it as an amendment.
Councillor Casero?
Through your worship, the only thing that I would add is if you're going to invite down the Minister of Education and the Premier, possibly the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Affairs, Minister Leal, should also be involved. I believe he would take some interest in this. I did have some conversation with him when I was up at the Roma Ober conference.
And if you did make a motion, I needed a seconder. I didn't realize that was a form of a motion. Councillor Caxero, okay. Now, Bill, you just spoke to that motion legally. Anyone else? And I just add, Councillor Bondi said that meeting's tonight, it starts at 6:30, so anyone out there that wants to make that meeting, you know, the more bodies the better. Thank you. All in favor of that motion? Motion carries.
And item number 15 is the adjournment.
Councillor Snively. Oh yes, just before we do that, can't adjourn, we don't have a seconder. We have the pieces of paper. Uh-oh. Guess who's the bad guy? Cross your fingers. I think 3 of you are going to love me, though. It isn't Randy. It's Randy's. Hi-ya! You're welcome, gentlemen and ladies. No, yes, young lady. Okay, we have a motion, seconder, to adjourn. Deputy Mayor Malash, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you very much.